And here tonight on this late hour of the WHAS 1119, we begin with breaking news. Police in Shively are looking for suspects after a deadly shooting tonight. A police department spokesperson in Shively says officers were called to Rockford Lane near Grandview Drive just before 9 o'clock tonight for reports of shots fired. When they arrived, they found a man with a gunshot wound and he died at the scene. If you have information that can help Shively Police, their number is 930-2SPD. You can also, by the way, leave an anonymous tip. Hello, everybody, and thank you for staying up late tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. A Louisville Metro police officer shot and injured a suspect this afternoon after investigators say he threatened them with a gun during a foot chase in the South End. It happened about 2:30 this afternoon on Beecher Street. That's right off Taylor Boulevard at the Waterston Expressway. WHAS 1119's Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie were at the scene, and Alex is joining us live tonight from downtown Louisville. Alex, what do we know about the suspect tonight?
Doug, we are here at the U of L hospital where officers say the suspect from today's shooting is considered stable. Police chief is now calling for an end to gun violence in our neighborhoods.
This is yet another example of an individual illegally in possession of a firearm in our city.
A seemingly quiet afternoon in the Wyandotte neighborhood disrupted by dozens of flashing police lights.
It's a normal everyday occurrence out here anymore.
LMPD officers responded to a domestic violence call on Beecher Avenue down the street from Wyandotte Park. When officers arrived, they say they found a man inside a car armed with an AR-style pistol. LMPD Chief Jacqueline Gwynn Villaroel says the suspect led officers on a foot pursuit through a heavily populated neighborhood.
The suspect refused to comply, and despite numerous verbal commands, the individual did not comply. The individual pointed the gun at officers, and an LMPD officer discharged his weapon, striking the individual.
Chief Gwynn Villaroel says the suspect was given immediate medical attention and transported to the U of L hospital. But neighbors like Cindy Borden are left wondering if there's an end in sight to the violence.
But it's scary seeing all them cops on us this close.
The chief also sending the Louisville community a message of reality.
I want to encourage our city yet again, our citizens of this beautiful city, continue to pray for our community, pray for each and every one that resides here, that we can get a handle on this ridiculous gun violence that is taking place.
No one else was injured in Monday's shooting. LMPD says there is body-worn footage from the officers involved in today's shooting, and they say that footage will be released in 10 business days. Live in downtown Louisville, Alex Dieterer, WHAS 1119 on your side.
Alex, thank you. Investigators are asking anyone who may have surveillance video of this incident to let them know. Contact them. You can call 574-LMPD to do so or visit their online portal. Happening tomorrow, the future of the former Metro police officer Brent Hankison is once again in the hands of a federal jury as they'll return to the courtroom. He's one of the key figures in the night Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by police. Hankison, seen here arriving to court this morning, is accused of violating the civil rights of Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, and apartment neighbors when he fired into her apartment on March 13, 2020. After about an hour of deliberating today, the jury decided to go home at about 6:20 tonight. Again, they'll be returning tomorrow to continue deliberations. Alexis Jones is covering the trial and has more on the final message to that jury from both sides of the case.
Shocking, stomach-turning, and unfathomably dangerous. Words the prosecution emphasized during closing arguments Monday, each coming from veteran police officers who took the stand. Prosecutor Michael Songer says Brett Hankison did a disservice to his fellow officers in March 2020. While violating the constitutional rights of Breonna Taylor, Kenneth Walker, he played their crippling 911 calls for the jury one last time. Songer went on to say Hankison didn't fire at an imminent threat. Instead, he ran away from the doorway and fired blindly behind a truck in the parking lot. Songer says Hankison knew shooting into a covered window and sliding door was wrong, but he did it anyway. just hoping to take down whoever was inside, regardless of innocent people that might be in the line of fire. The prosecution also says Hankison shot 10 rounds after the gunfire ended at the doorway, accusing him of lying on the stand. However, the defense argues prosecutors took statements out of context and made conclusions unsupported by evidence. Defense attorney Stu Matthews says Hankison's returned fire to muzzle flashes and he knew his partner was shot, adding his perception is what's important. Matthews told the jury they need to put themselves in the position of a reasonable officer in that situation. He says Hankison made a split decision to protect his brother officers. Matthews doubled down his client's actions were reasonable and he didn't violate the use of deadly force. Now it's up to the jury to decide. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS 11 on your side.
To follow the latest developments throughout tomorrow in the case, don't forget to check out WHAS11.com or download the free WHAS 11 app, and you can follow from the courtroom. Firefighters in Louisville and Oldham County honoring one of their own today, fallen Ballardsville firefighter Thomas Petschke Jr. A procession this afternoon took Sergeant Petschke home to Oldham County from Louisville. The 53-year-old suffered a medical emergency while fighting a fire in Goshen over the weekend. And today, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear releasing new information about that, saying that a vacant structure caught fire and then sparked the wildfire in that area that he was fighting. The ATF, Oldham County Police, and the fire department are now investigating the cause of the vacant structure fire. Petschke was a Ballardsville firefighter for 10 years.
Tom was, like I said, the epiphany of a volunteer, very loyal, and just all around really good, never negative, never any bad words, and when he was tasked to do something, his loyalty always showed.
And we have these new details tonight. We've learned the visitation for Sergeant Petschke will be held Wednesday night from 5 until 7 p.m. at the Hetty Radcliffe Funeral Home. That's in LaGrange. His funeral will then be held Thursday morning at 11 at the Southeast Christian Church Crestwood, Kentucky campus. The community is asked to line the route from the funeral home to the church on Thursday morning starting at 10 a.m. Sergeant Petschke will then be buried in Buffalo, New York, where he grew up. Well, imagine turning on your faucet and take a look at this right here. You see this coming out of the faucet, brown water filling up water pitchers and bathtubs. People living in Salem, Indiana say it's been their reality out of the tap for far too long. Now the city's addressing the problem, starting a 6-day cleansing of its entire water system. All new right here on the night team. Focus reporter Travis Breeze attended a public works meeting tonight to find out when people will see improvements.
As the system-wide flushing has been going on since Sunday, some people have seen improvements while others are still waiting for things to clear up. One thing that we heard loudly at this meeting on Monday is that residents don't want the city to treat this as a one-time occurrence.
It looks horrible due to iron and manganese, but it's purely cosmetic.
The statement so many Salem residents have been struggling to accept. People have been sending us pictures for 5 weeks of discolored water, saying their city is ignoring it. Monday, we saw Mayor Justin Green face to face with those residents.
The problem at hand there a month ago was quite a problem that was fixed. The pocketed areas is what is still giving us, the crews and some residents, some fits.
The city says it's tracking down the last pockets of discolored water, but the only way to do it was an entire system flush. That started Sunday at noon and may last until Saturday. Before the meeting, Mark Radke showed us 2 jars, the left from his outside tap and the right from his inside industrial filter.
Yeah, that's the best color I've seen in a year or better.
Others yet to see any improvements.
This is what color it came out today.
Misty Wells says the bottle on the left came from her tap Monday and the bottle on the right straight from a local creek.
I've been dealing with it off and on for a year and a half.
Cody Halstead used his time to list the city's violations for under-testing and under-reporting a few years ago and begged for them to do better.
It's frustrating that you continue to downplay how severe this is. Will you be providing them with reimbursement for their soiled clothing? Because it's not an isolated incident at this point.
Once the system-wide flushing is over, Public Works employees said it will not be a completely clean system, but they do think it will have dramatic improvements. In Salem, Travis Breeze for the WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Well, Travis and our focus team started looking into the brown water issues in Salem after receiving a viewer tip. If there's a story you'd like them to investigate, here's how to reach us by email: focus@WHAS11.com. The leader of Louisville's UAW chapter says there's a variety of reasons the workers there voted down a proposed Ford contract. Nearly 6,000 local Ford workers between the Kentucky truck plant and the Louisville assembly plant on Fern Valley Road voted on the proposal yesterday. The majority voted against it. The new contract would guarantee a 25% wage increase for workers over 4.5 years and reinstate cost of living adjustments. Local 862 President Todd Dunn says he believes social media played a role in that vote, along with apathy.
One of our election committee members who works on the line looked at the members on their team, and out of 18 members on their team, 2 members went and voted. So when you have one whole team working at work together and 2 out of 18 vote, and I said, well, why do you think? A lot of them said it really didn't matter. They thought that it was going to get voted in anyways. So, you don't really get a true measurement when that happens.
Todd Dunn told us there's still a significant number of workers across the country who have to vote on the contract, but the trend shows that it should overall pass. All new on the WHAS 1119, a Bardstown, Kentucky church has a new addition outside: a box with free Narcan. First Christian Church volunteered as a location after complications putting it up in other places in the county. WHAS 1119's Taylor Woods talked with the church about their hopes for the box and the judge executive who's against it being free.
This blue Narcan box sits outside First Christian Church of Bardstown, free and easily accessible for anyone to anonymously take a kit.
I'd rather have somebody use this to help a friend who's in distress rather than just have somebody die from an overdose.
Last week, the Lincoln-Jarrell District Health Department installed 12 Narcan kits. So far, 3 have been taken out of this box and used. The church is in a heavily trafficked area, making it easy for people to access.
We're in a location that people come and go all the time. We have stuff here at the church, so you can be very anonymous.
The box is located just feet away from the church's blessing box, filled with food and canned good donations. Pastor Summers says this is the church's way of showing love to let folks know they are here to help.
But the message we want to send to the community here is that we care. God loves you.
Nelson County Judge Executive Tim Hutchins is in favor of Narcan. He's just against it being free. Hutchins feels if people had to pay for it, it would make them think twice before overdosing.
I just don't think there's enough accountability following up to really help the people that truly need it.
Hutchins says he would rather see a documentation process to keep track of when and how many times people are using Narcan.
Say at the drugstore, prescription, or doctor, or whatever, so you'll know who got it, what it's used for, and if they need help.
Overall, Pastor Summers says First Christian Church is willing to do anything to help save lives.
To move them from the disease of addiction to sobriety.
Hoping folks use this resource before it's too late. In Bardstown, Taylor Woods, WHAS 1119 on your side.
Vine Grove, Kentucky in Hardin County is the next nearest city just west of Nelson County with a Narcan vending machine.